Hello, hi guys, this is Safdar Machiswala, and I am creating this video um, for helping you guys to migrate from version 2 to version 3, Chrome extensions version 2 to version 3, as Google has a deadline to upgrade to version 3 for um, Chrome 88 or later. So I'm creating this video because I faced a bunch of issues in the migration, and I wanted to help you guys out. Okay, let me start with the going over. So what I will do is I will go over the all the points which Google has mentioned in the docs, and then I will show you example of my extension and the upgrades and the challenges I faced. So all right, let's start. The first thing is um, we have to upgrade the manifest version. So um, the manifest version 2 will be changed to manifest version 3. That's simple. The next thing is updating the host permissions. So previously we have the permissions as tabs, bookmarks, and the URLs. Another optional permissions, unlimited storage, for example, here, and then that's gonna be changed with permissions will be tabs and bookmarks. Optional permissions is unlimited storage. Host permissions will be the URL, and then optional host permissions. So the thing here is the host permissions is added, which will be the URLs if you're trying to access, third-party um, content, third-party APIs, or third-party resources like JavaScript or CSS and things like that. So that's the host permissions. Another is web accessible resources. This will be the resources you're trying to access, like CSS, JavaScript, and you just mentioned here like resources, images slash star. So previously it was um, kind of an array of the resources. But now it's it's an array of an object. So this is a main array, and then these are the object. This is the first object. This is the second object, and it added different resources in for different URLs and things like that. So that's another part. The next thing we will go over is checklist. So we saw we saw these three. The next thing is the migrate to a service worker. Um, I face some difficulties here and had a lot of challenges in calling different APIs, and also let me go over this. Okay, so in the older version we were having um, background field which had an object, and then object had like scripts and a persistent value. The newer version will have it won't have scripts, so that will be changed to service worker. And service worker is kind of a JavaScript file which runs on the background, and you can. So now instead of an array here, this is changed to like a single JavaScript file. So I'll show you an example at the end how I created like a single file which calls which like kind of ES module, and then it calls a bunch of different background services files. So and then type will be module. So I'll show you an example at the end, so this will make more sense. And then the next thing is So local storage, and there are different Chrome APIs like add listener and bunch of different APIs, which I think it will come later. Yeah, the Chrome alarm API, Chrome alarm listener. I think there's a list which Chrome's share for replacing all the APIs. Okay, let's go back to where we were. So here, yeah. So yeah, registering your listeners synchronously. Just look at these examples. Adding the listeners. I'll show you an example at the end from my extension where we have a listener which is listening the messages in the background, and then we send the messages from the UI or from the front, like a pop-up or other JavaScript classes. All right, excuse me. So let's go next is replacing the XML HTTP request. Yeah, so I faced some issues here where we are, so previously, we used to call, create like an XML HTTP request and then call our third-party APIs and our APIs on our servers directly from the Chrome extension, but it was not allowing us. It was throwing some error because now we cannot call directly from the JavaScript file. So that need to be replaced with fetch, and then we cannot still use fetch directly in the front JavaScript files. It needs to be used in the background JavaScript files. I'll show you later in the example. And the persist states is, so there are Google APIs which we need to use. One of them is the storage API where we can store data, and one is the alarm API, and there are a bunch of APIs. I think, yeah, all these APIs which we can use to access. So storage has all this session manage, all this. So one recommendation is from to use these APIs from Chrome and not create your own or use your own APIs, because this is also a change they made in this. Okay, so yeah, this is the same alarm API change. And service worker, this is okay. What's next? Update your code. Execute strip, active tab. Yeah, these are these are all you know thing I mentioned, APIs. Oh yeah, right there. That's what I was looking for earlier. So yeah, so these are all manifest version 2 properties. This all of this bunch, and now they're replaced with this one. So if you're using any of this, you need to replace it with this, and then look for any parameter change or anything, and then make sure you update those, and then give it a test. Let me know if there are any issues with any of this, and I will look into it and give it a try. I have used some of this. I'm not sure if I use all of this. All right, so these are all same things: permissions and cookies, web request, replacing the blocking, improve security, bundle third party. Oh yeah, one thing here is bundling third-party libraries. So um, previously, what I was doing was I was calling the jQuery library and Bootstrap CSS library directly, via CDN. But now I had some issues calling those, so I replaced these scripts and CSS with instead of calling dynamically, I just copied and added it into my own extension. So now I'm just referring to those from the manifest and it's getting loaded. Um, that's that. And yeah, content security policy. What's happening here is previously it used to be just like a string, a field, and a value. Now they change it to field and then an object, and inside object there are extension pages, which takes the same values before. But here the major changes. Previously we had a URL here, so it will tell my extension to allow that URL to be called from my pop-up or any other JS files. But now we cannot add any URLs here. So the only thing you can add here is default src, script src, style src, style source, script source, and um, those things. And this is a security policy. So, and if you want to add any URLs, you can add it in the host permissions, which we saw earlier, the first or second page there. And then there is a sandbox here, which is optional. What it does is it allows you to add local host or any local URLs, um, so that your code will work locally. So here's an example. Yeah, script source, object source, worker source, and then these are the values. And then sandbox will only allow things like IP address and localhost. Yeah. All right. So these are all kind of some documentation here. Let's go to my extension, and then I will walk you over. Let me share my. Hello. So yeah, as we discussed, so here is my extension I have opened in the Visual Studio Code. These are all the files I have here. I'll go over the changes I made in the version control here. Let me go here, remove this here. Okay, so here we have all the changes I made to migrate to manifest version 3. Let's start with manifest.json file. The first change here is the manifest version from 2 to 3. That's simple. The next one is version 305 to 306. So I update this number every time whenever I make a change, even if it's a simple change, so that I can know that my changes is there when I open the Chrome, when I upload these new changes, and I can see the version there, and I can see that the new changes are there. The next is browser action. This one is changed in the new version. It's changed to only action. It has a default icon, pop-up title. It remains same. The naming is changed to action. Let's go down. The next one is background. So previously there was a script field here, and it was an array of the background JS files. I had one background file, eventpage.js here, and then there was some optional field, persistent false, and all other fields as well. But with the new version, now this has to be changed, as we saw in the documentation. This has to be changed to service worker. So I changed it to service worker, and now this one does not take an array of files. It only takes one field and one value. So I added a new file, service worker.js, and the type module, what it means is it's kind of ES6 module, so that you can add multiple background services if you want in the same file. So let me go over to this file to show you what I meant by this. So service worker.js, it's here, and I added these two files in the service worker.js. So these are my two background service files, background.js and eventpage.js. Eventpage was I already had earlier. This background.js is a new one I added. I'll go over this, what are the changes and all. So that's the change in the service worker. The next step is the permissions. It was an array of all the permissions you need. So previously I had active tab, storage, notification alarm, some URLs, but now with the new version you cannot add URLs there. So I removed that, and then those will go under host permission, which is kind of an array as well, with a list of all the URLs my extension is using. So I added this one, and then the other one, which is like which is my API to get some stock pricing. So this is this extension is stock related extension, and it's getting some pricing via third-party APIs and my API. So I added here, and then the next is web accessible resources. So previously I had only bootstrap.css here, but now, so previously it was an array of strings, but now it's an array of an object. So here I added resources, what I had before, and then I added a few new ones. I'll show you what are the new ones. And then the content security policy I had before was script source, self tag with the Ajax Google APIs, and then object source self. This is now changed. We cannot add any HTTP links here. So, and then it is replaced with an object instead of field, field and value. But now it's a content security policy, and then it's an object, and then it will replace with extension pages. We have to add default source or script source, style source, connect source. There are a bunch of them as we saw in the documentation. And then there is a sandbox, so I just added localhost. I was playing around, but yeah, so we have to add the things here. We cannot add URLs. Localhost is fine. You cannot add other URLs. So that's that. Let's go over to the background file. So okay, so I added a listener here. So to understand background file, let me go over first to the extension event page file. So this is another background file I already had earlier. The changes I made is so I removed the XML HTTP request. We cannot add XML HTTP requests anymore with the new versioning. We have replaced that with fetch. So I replaced it with fetch, and then the URLs. The URL calling in the fetch will only work in the background services. It will not work in the pop-up or any other other services which are not mentioned in the background service. So this is my background service, so it's gonna work here, but now it's gonna work other files. So previously I had this XML HTTP calls bunch of places. I'm gonna show you, and then I removed that and added it, did it in a different way. This is yes, some other changes, alarm and all. Okay, that's that. And then let me go to the popup.js. So yeah, so here, so this is my pop-up. So my extension has a pop-up where we click on a icon in the Chrome window, Chrome browser, and then it opens up a little pop-up to display the stock pricing and all. So the changes I made here is it is calling my third-party API to get the pricing and all. Previously I was using XML HTTP request, which is not working anymore with the new versioning. So what we have to do is, so as popup.js is not a background service, I cannot even use fetch here. So what I did is I added a send message, and what it does is it sends a message to the background service like, hey, I need a pricing around these are my symbol, whatever I need, I send the message to the background service, and then the background service will give me a response, and then whatever the thing it has to do with the response it will do. This is the thing same as before, right? Not change it, only the response is changed. So previously it was sending it using XML HTTP.get, and then now it is doing it from the background service. So yeah, I commented all code, added this new line, and then these little changes. So now let's go to the background service to understand what happens. So once we send a message, the background service has a listener. It listens to the message, and then it's a little highlight. It's not highlighted, it's just green to show the changes. Okay, so it listens to the message, and then it calls the API and gives the response, and then it gives the response back here, and then it does what it needs to do and prints out, and does the thing. So that's the change. And then to allow the call, we have to add the host permission, which is that API I have here. So that's the change. Previously, directly I was using this URL in the pop-up and other places, but now we cannot. We have to add it here, and then we have to use it using the background service. So that's a change. Now let's go over to, so we saw background, we saw event page, manifest, options.html. Okay, so what options.html, the previously I was using the InStyle, a lot of InStyle inline styling. Like now with the new versioning, it was throwing some errors on the console, like I have to remove this, so I moved all of this in a new CSS file. Like this one has only one, so this is option.html, so I created a new option.css and moved this background right here, and then I referred this CSS in here using the href. And then the jQuery, previously I was using via this link, and what was happening is, so Ajax at Google API. So if you see the manifest, old manifest, I see we had this permission, Ajax at Google API, so it was to call the scripts and load it, but as it's not a big extension, and I'm just using the same jQuery, so what it is, I downloaded the whole jQuery here, jQuery.js, and added it as a file inside the project, and then in my HTML, I'm just sourcing that JS file instead of calling the. I still have this URL added in my host permission, but I'm not using it. So the next file is pop-up. So same thing. I removed all the styling and moved it to CSS popup.css, and scripts as well, and then logo. I had this margin tab. I removed it to the CSS file. So if you see that I added these two CSS file, pop-up, options, and then jQuery, right? Previously I had not had this, so when I added it, I have to mention it in my resources, so I added it here, like jQuery, pop-up, and then I have one more, which is options.css. So just this, right? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's we have to add it in the resources. And then the next file, I think we went over power.js, yes, service worker. This is a zip file. Option, this is CSS I added, and then jQuery added. So that's all my changes. I spent a lot of time, a lot of days figuring out. It was throwing a bunch of errors, and I have faced a lot of challenges. So I just wanted to share with you guys the steps I took and the solution I faced, the solutions I took for the challenges I faced. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any comments, or if you have any trouble, if you're getting stuck somewhere in migrating to this new versioning. Let me know if you want me to create another video regarding some other manifest permissions or some other manifest field which I'm not using and I did not show here. Yeah, comment, like, let me know, and then I hope this video will help you guys to migrate to the version 3, manifest version 3. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, bye.